Hello, my name is Tim Mention. The social network service application that I was looking into was Yik Yak, and the feature and also the information technology associated with it is called geofencing. Now, what is Yik Yak? For those of you who aren't really all that familiar with Yik Yak, it is a social media network that allows users to be able to anonymously, well, at least it was, but I think they require a username or handle to post comments or status updates or whatever they want to a feed. Basically, just like Twitter. But the only difference is that with Yik Yak, it is a 5 mile radius. Everything you see is from people who have posted to these threads that are within 5 miles of you. Now, what Yik Yak wants this to be is basically a live feed of what people are saying around you. They want relevant information of what's going on literally around you. Now, this was targeted for college age students. I mean, have been a lot of kids on campus. I mean, there's thousands of students at UC, and being able to share information in a 5 mile radius, I mean, that's going to cover UC's campus. So everybody who posts everything on there will be seen by everybody that's on there. So, if there's, parties going on, or if, people ask for something going on in class, they might not know a person. If they post about it, someone might see it and actually be able to respond and help them. I've seen that many a times. Um, People ask about, going to the UC game, UC sports games, and yeah, from that and from everything else, the nice thing about it is that users can upvote and downvote these posts. So obviously the ones that have the most upvotes are going to be more at the top. So when you log into your Yik Yak, you'll see, what mostly everybody's talking about, what everybody's liking, and generally that's, what's going on around campus, or if there's, it could be just like a funny comment that someone made, or anything really. But the idea is to get relevant information about what's going on around you. Now, the Yik Yak feature, it's not really, something that the user knows about, but there was an issue that started occurring. Like I said, the Yik Yak was targeted for college age students. Well, unfortunately, middle school and high school kids started getting into it. And the unfortunate part of that is that cyberbullying and even bomb threats started occurring on high schools. And in this day and age, that is not tolerated, nor should it be. So, what did Yik Yak do to help alleviate some of these issues? They partnered with a company called Maponics to gather GPS coordinates of almost all middle and high schools. Um, and the idea was to basically block off these areas so that when a user tries to use Yik Yak within these areas, the app doesn't allow them to. Um, it straight up prevents them from getting on a thread and or being able to post it. Everything with Yik Yak is not, it's not able to. Now, while Yik Yak gathered all these GPS coordinates, they were able to use the technology of geofencing to put these boundaries up. Um, Now, what exactly is geofencing? It uses your global positioning system to define a boundary somewhere in the world. Um, and within these boundaries, I mean, these boundaries can be, it can be your house, it can be a 5 block radius, it can be a park, it can be basically whatever you want it to be. But the idea behind it is that when someone with their phone, obviously GPS turned on and whatnot, it allows the application to do something as a person, walks inside the boundary or walks outside of it. Now, a lot of businesses, brick and mortar stores, restaurants, they are using this to get people to come in to their place of business. If you're walking past Panera, or you're, a couple blocks away from Panera, and you're inside this geofence that they set up, they may send you an email, or, with the application that you have, they may send you a coupon for you to come on in, $10 off your meal within the next 30 minutes at this location. They'd probably give you a location, and you just, oh, yeah, I'm kind of hungry for lunch. That doesn't sound half bad. Oh, well, $10 off. Nice. I guess we'll go to Panera. So the idea is like that. Instead of, putting out a street sign where you're only going to hit maybe a few hundred people, you set up a geofence location to which, you can hit people within 2 mile radius. And that's going to gather, instead of hundreds, you're going to hit thousands more. And that's basically the idea of geofencing, is just setting up a boundary with, GPS coordinates that allows users, or allows app developers to turn on features, to turn off features. Now, what Yik Yak was able to utilize this geofence to put around high school and middle schools, so that users are limited with going on into Yik Yak and being able to post things. They just simply weren't allowed to. Now, with these, they went into and they set up all the middle schools and high schools, as many as they could. Now, obviously, the idea was to limit this cyberbullying, and it did do a tremendous job in at least preventing a form of cyberbullying in which, people weren't able to use the application. But unfortunately, cyberbullying happens everywhere, in which outside of schools it was still happening. If a lot of places where high school kids and middle school kids populate, say malls or a park or movies or somewhere, requests could be made to Yik Yak, in which they would review it and see and determine if this location would be suitable for a geofence. It was just another way for them to utilize this technology to help prevent this issue from still happening, especially on their application. Yik Yak, they really utilized this technology well, in that there were threats of potentially taking down this application. Parents and teachers and administrators, everybody was really against Yik Yak because of, they couldn't control it. It's Yik Yak's application. They can't control, what people are posting on there. So for Yik Yak to go in and to actually take away some of the abilities of their application is a smart move on their part. And with these geofences, I think they really took care of kind of taking off some of the pressure on them. They obviously don't want to go under. They don't want to lose their application. I'm sure they're doing quite well with it. But it's more than just the application and taking it down. It's helping with cyberbullying. It's a very, very sensitive issue, especially within the last 10 years or so. Especially as technology continues to grow, there's going to be more and more ways of students, bullying other kids online. And Yik Yak going that extra mile with these geofences, with utilizing this technology that we have, and helping to prevent some of that, or at least from their end. I think that they did a great job with it, and I hope that they can continue applying these restrictions to areas that are more prone to these cyberbullying. Just some of my resources I was looking into about geofencing and how Yik Yak was able to use it to, alleviate this issue. And that's it. Hope you enjoy. Have a good weekend, everybody.